Well, first I want to ask you actually, how do you feel about grape flavored gum?
Grape flavored gum?
Yes, grape, like the
Um,
fruit.
give me some brands though, because like the flavor by itself doesn't necessarily like is off-putting, but I really think that the sweetness of it really makes a big factor here. So like if it was like Bubblicious grape flavor and that's all that's there, or maybe like I don't know, someone just been nice, hey, you want some great Bubblicious? I'd be like, heck yeah, let's do that. But if it's because that's like it's really sugary, it's sweet, and that might last a while. But if it's like I don't know, like grape flavored gum that's like I don't know, like in a I don't know, like one of those blow pops or something like that. That's not my first choice. I'm not really a big fan of that. You know what I mean?
I guess kind of.
I don't know. It's okay. I mean, great flavor, bubblicious. I would chew. Nothing else. Great flavor in the gum realm. I would chew. It's like,
What about like Big League Chew?
hmm.
One of my favorite. I mean, it is one of my favorite brands of like
Well,
non minty. You know, gum has like basically. It has a couple different purposes, but the two primary purposes is like a breath freshener or like for fun,
some
like
stuff out of
bubble
your
gum.
teeth.
Yeah, like bubble gum. Like
Yeah,
and Big League Chew is definitely my favorite for the latter category.
I do enjoy Big League Chew, and I believe Big League Chew and the great flavor is good. It's actually kind of different because I can taste it in my mouth right now. It's got a little tang to it, or like a little sourness in a good way. You know?
Yeah, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I actually have right. Well, the reason I ask is I've got this Icebreakers. We're not sponsored, by the way. Although, what's up, Icebreakers?
What's up?
Icebreakers. These ice cubes, Arctic grape flavor. So, I got to.
See that? I'm hesitant there.
No, hold on a minute. Let me explain. So, I just want to preface this with I am not usually one to buy something like this. I generally see this as like an inefficient way to consume gum. This thing right here, it's 40 pieces of sugar-free gum by design. It's not like it's not being branded as sugar-free. The sugar-free is actually a very small print. I noticed this just now actually, and I bought this maybe days ago. So it's not like trying to pull you in with the
Did you know it was
sugar-free.
sugar free when you bought it?
I think I just mentioned that I am just reading this for the first time that it's sugar
Oh,
free.
okay, got it,
So
got
it's not pulling
it.
you in based on it being sugar free. It's definitely going Icebreaker's brand right front and center, and then it's like it's the shape of the container is obviously cup holder esque. It's got one of those many you can share it with a lot of people. You like that pop little ASMR, and then also the small. So it's kind of like it's harkening to like their mint containers harkening. It's the shareable, the non-shareable. You get what I'm saying? You look
It is.
confused. Okay,
Yeah.
but
Well,
anyway,
no.
so the Arctic grape. I think the whole point here, and they're ice cubes, right? So they're little squares or cubes, and it's supposed to provide like a little pop of freshness, but then with that grape flavor on the back end, that grape bubblegum flavor, and it delivers. And I quite enjoy it, but I'm not sure that it's for everyone.
Mm, I see. Well, I would be willing to try it if you ever care to share, but I'm a little apprehensive.
I may care to share, and I would use the many side of my container here. Oh, listen to that. Listen.
Oh,
Ready? Ready?
yeah.
Hey, Scott,
Yeah, that's
would you
good.
like a piece of gum?
Sure. That's pretty nice. I do have a really quick question while we're still on this topic, and I'm sure that we're trying to get off of it now. But
Why?
when
I don't have
you
anywhere to be.
when you just read the fact that it was sugar free, do you feel disappointed
No, no, because
or pleasantly surprised?
it's quite sweet actually. It's already very sweet. It's so sweet, in fact, that I was worried that this was negatively impacting my health. But now I actually feel relieved that it's not. I know it's 5 calories per piece, which is standard for I think most gums. I wonder what the hell's in it that's making it taste this way. So that's a bit concerning. But hey, you live and you learn, right?
That's right. That's what you have to do.
I believe that you've got some rankings.
I do. ESPN published. When I say ESPN, I think this is really Ben Lindsay from ESPN is the author of the article published it, um, and he's published the top. Well, he ranked all 32 NFL teams rosters based off of PFF grades. Are you familiar with what PFF grades are?
Pro Football Focus.
Yeah. Yes. So he basically like combined them all, and then for college. For rookies and players that aren't active, they use college grades or NFL grades from earlier seasons, or for people who were, hurt last year, or people who are rookies. So they use college grades there. So that might be a little skewed.
Hmm.
So do you want to go through very quickly what
Yeah, I mean,
just a high level?
it,
I'll give you obviously the top five you got to talk about, and then we'll go through.
yeah,
We'll go through, and we don't have to go through an in-depth analysis. I just tell me if you agree
how it
or
strikes us.
disagree.
Yeah, no, leave it to us
Yeah.
to talk to find a way to talk about the NFL in late June. Let's do that. That'll be what we do. But first, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention we haven't recorded in maybe a month or so, maybe a month and a half,
True.
mid-May.
Yeah.
So in that time, I think it's worth noting. Everybody probably, our listener probably knows by now that the Golden State Warriors won another NBA championship. I don't like them either, but do it without KD. I can't stand Steve Kerr, but that's significant. It's of note. They have a major championship decided in that time. You have to mention it. We'd be irresponsible not to, right? I know you don't watch it. I know you didn't watch a single NBA game this year, not even your Bucks.
No, that's not true. Whoa, whoa, whoa! I watched the Bucks, and I definitely watched the Bucks. I watched every Bucks playoff game, and it was very heartbreaking that they lost to Boston. I think they could have beaten Boston. They should have beat Boston, and I think if they beat Boston, they would have given Golden State a much tougher chance. And next year, we're going to be really good because Middleton was hurt through the entire playoffs. So,
Like I said,
yeah,
I know you didn't watch any basketball this year, but we still need to mention it. On the same note, NHL just days ago, the Colorado Avalanche won their first cup in 20 damn years, and stopping the three-peat from the Tampa Bay Lightning. I don't know how many three-peats there have been in just professional sports. Obviously, you've got I don't think the Patriots ever did three in a row, did they? I mean,
no, I don't think so.
the Penguins came close.
Yeah,
That would have been a feat, but I got no love for the Avalanche. They're a division rival. I also don't really root for Tampa Bay all that much. Why would I? Tampa Bay's been winning everything recently. The Rays won, Bucks won, Lightning won two in a row. But that would have been cool to see. But hey, listen, any team that goes 20-year championship drought, I'm going to root for that over literally the people that are dominating right now. So
agreed.
good for the Lanch. Tampa Bay will be back there. I'm sure they will be next year. I also want to make one more note. On these two sports in particular, their seasons coincide with one another. They basically overlap the entire time. And I just want to. I know that I'm not a hardcore NBA fan, and I know I'm a little bit more of a hockey fan, but I'm not even a hardcore hockey fan. But I think it's notable, hockey less so, NBA more so, that I didn't even know that the NBA draft was happening until it was like the second round night of. I was at a bar and I saw it on. I don't know if I'm just not if I was just like so out of it that I just missed the announcements of it. But it doesn't seem to be very well advertised. I mean, if you give me a little bit of a lead in, I probably would have tuned in. I completely missed it. And you could say that's on me. I mean, most NBA fans who it's geared toward, they know when it's happening. They care about it. They're gonna pay attention to it. NHL is a little bit different because the NHL draft's never really been that big of a deal because they're almost all prospects. I mean, so few of those players come in and start playing for the actual team right away. They usually spend a year or two working their way up through the system. But NBA is different. I mean, you can get a game changing player right out of the gate. It's usually the top 5 picks or something like that. But I mean, I don't know why that is, and I don't know if you have any thoughts on this. I'm kind of springing this on you last minute. My only assumption, and this is probably incorrect, but I'm going with it anyway, is that they do the NBA draft so soon after the NBA finals. Um, Maybe to just keep people that are already tuned, like paying attention to basketball, they can maybe grab those people. Like it happened so quickly after the finals were over, or they're just trying to get it in before the football season starts because people aren't going to pay attention once like summer camps and stuff all start. Which I don't know that that's necessarily true. What do you think? Why do you think that there isn't? What are you smiling because you have no opinion on this? That's probably the case.
No, I'm smiling because I actually have an opinion, but you've been talking for a long time.
Well, I was trying to give you. Again, I
Appreciate
sprang
it.
this on you, so I was trying to
Yeah.
give you
All right.
some. That's what it's a good co-hosts do with one another. Just drop
Well,
it,
I
a dead
appreciate
fish
that.
in there in your lap.
Yeah. All right. So here's my thoughts. Okay, as you mentioned, they have summer camp. Well, you have to have the new class of folks coming in to be ready to start with summer camp to get ready for the season. So the draft has to happen before that, and there is not a very long off season. So they have to get it over with and get the draft going, and so they can start with their roster building for the upcoming season that's going to start in like 3 or 4 months. So there's just not a lot of time to waste to begin with. To the point of you being a pretty good sports fan, and me too, not really knowing when or the advertisement of the draft really isn't like that big of a spectacle compared to the NFL. And the NFL draft being a spectacle is only a very recent phenomenon, and it's all because of ratings and because of viewership. So the NFL has found a way to really hype up the excitement and the viewership of particularly the first round, and making it on primetime TV and making it on a Thursday night, and it's a spectacle, and that has allowed for, and people watch it, so that allows for more ad revenue and more money that comes in, so they can sponsor, making it more grand each and every year. So the advertisement of it, the hyping up of it, and all that type of stuff kind of goes hand in hand with the fact that people started to get into the first round of the NFL draft. The NBA draft and the Major League Baseball draft is a whole different animal, but like those in the NHL draft, they're not events that are like something that people would sit down and watch because you know the draft's really it's you really made a good case for why an NBA draft might be more like valuable for a fan of a team, because your franchise might change overnight. But I really would argue that the the top 5 or 6 NBA players, just like the NFL, once you drop after that, I don't know. It's cool, but it's not they're not that much of a game changing talent. And I would say the years that there are that generational talents, like the LeBron Jameses and the well, at the time there was the thought of the Zion Williamson dude, like that, like there's a little bit more like intrigue that a layperson or someone who's just a casual fan might want to tune in for. But absent of that, people just aren't going to want to get into it. So they don't hype it up because they don't have a lot of ad revenue and money to spend on hyping the draft up. I would argue that the draft lottery is actually sometimes more of a cool spectacle that it might they might advertise and showcase even more so than the draft, because that's like where a fan might be like, oh man, maybe I can get lucky tonight and get the number one pick. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I think it's all about money, and there's just not a lot of money in the draft for the NBA because the viewership is not the same as the viewership of the NFL.
As simple as that. You mentioned the draft lottery. This is off topic for sure, but I know that we're in 2 fantasy football leagues now, and one of them we've gotten to a really good place with how we do the consolation bracket and setting up the draft, the next year's draft order. I have been very interested in a draft lottery for like the top 4 or 5 picks. That seems like a really fun way to like it eliminates the whole tanking thing, um, and it adds some intrigue. It adds a spectacle, as you say. So I don't know. Maybe I should float that around more often. I'm not in any leagues that do that, but You're right. The draft lottery is fun.
Could be fun.
All right, give me those rankings, buddy. Let's talk some football. What really
All right.
matters?
What really matters? It's the only sport that matters. All right. So PFF rankings of the best rosters, top to bottom, in the NFL. Number one. Do you have a guess on who you think would be number one?
Yeah, I've got a guess.
Look, would you like to provide
Well,
that guess?
I'd love to. So this is just based off of rosters alone. This isn't. I mean, I'm asking. I'm asking, not confirming. Is it taking
Yep.
into consideration the strength of schedule? Is it talking about who might actually win their division? Whatever. It's just literally just talent of roster alone.
Based on individual players' PFF scores combined, who has overall the best roster. So not most likely to win the Super Bowl or anything like that. Just like from top to bottom, offense, defense, who has the most complete team in the NFL?
We can definitely talk about this. It seems like a. Is this worthwhile to talk about? I mean, this isn't an indicator of anything, really. I mean,
It kind of is. It's indicator of going in with the strongest team based on each individual's graded talent, pretty on a metric scale. The combination of that, which team? This is literally on paper who's the best team. Like this is it.
I hear you, but just by definition alone, it's like it's on paper. You got
Right.
to.
Well, we can talk about something if you
No,
want.
no, 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 no. I want to talk about this. I'm just breaking it down. You're presenting this
Okay.
to me. I'm just taking it in. I'm just trying to get my mindset in the right place to talk about this. Okay. So anyway, I'm just saying, on paper that's fine, but you got to play the games. Like that's what I'm saying. As an indicator as to, I'm not trying to be difficult. Don't roll your eyes. I'm just saying as an indicator as to which team will do well. This is not. It's like it has nothing to do with team chemistry or coaching or gameplay, like style of play, like any schemes that you run. There's a lot that goes into, but I'm fine. I'm fine. Let's talk about this.
Well, that's why they don't award. That's why they don't award the Lombardi based on roster building. You know what I mean? It's about winning the games, sure, but from a GM and analytical standpoint, you gotta build a team. So this is an analysis based on some specific metrics on who going into the season might have done a good job building the best team. That's it. And then we could review this podcast later, and we could see if this actually shakes out.
I'd like to do that. Can you take a little screenshot of this ranking, and we'll just revisit it maybe in the future. But I'm just saying, like, it's who can accumulate the highest graded talent. But that's not even based off like that's not even as related to, again, the type of football you play, or the team you want to, like the type of team.
What is your point? What's your point?
I'm just trying to understand what the point of these rankings are. That's all I'm trying to understand. But because there's so
The
much.
point is,
There's so much missing.
it's about. I'm telling you, the point is, who has a really strong roster. That's it. It's not about who's most likely to win a Super Bowl. Who do people think will win the division? It's not about any of those things.
It's who has great players. It's which team has the best combination of players.
Right.
Again,
It's not hard to
I have just such an issue with that still, because like Deebo Samuel, but like how do you grade this? Like Deebo Samuel could be the best wide receiver for a Kyle Shanahan offense, but you put him on the Patriots roster, and all of a sudden he's not graded the same because he's not used in the same ways. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like the people looking at these players. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Let's just get into it. I think
most of the players, certainly there's some big exceptions, of most of these players were on the same team with the same scheme last year. There's been some coaching changes, whatever, but like it's not like it's not like the deck gets reshuffled every single season. So some of these grades are worth something. You know what I mean? All right. Well, the number one team was the Cleveland Browns.
Are you serious?
No, I'm
Okay,
not serious.
okay. Well, you got me excited because I was about to say that the Browns might be in the top five based off of just players alone. Because I think a lot of people, and I'm not guessing them as the top team. I do have a guess, but I was contemplating, whether the Browns might be considered, because in an individual player basis, they've got a lot of talented players on both sides of the ball. But but
We'll get to the Browns. Who do you think's number one?
my gut said the Bills. But again, if I were putting a ranking together of the teams I think that are the best team, including some of those not on paper things, I would say the Bills. Um, I'm still going to go with the Bills, and I bet you they are in the top five, definitely top 10. But I don't know if they're number one. Are they number one?
The Bills are number one.
Hell yeah! All right, I could do this. I could put some. I can make a meaningless ranking of all the teams. Okay, so do you think they should be the number one team?
I think right now, based on everything I know, yeah, they should be because they got some good acquisitions in the offseason too, didn't they? They got what, Von Miller? They signed him? Yeah, Von Miller.
They got Von Miller. They got some good corners. I
Hmm.
know they've got one of the Edmonds brothers playing linebacker. He's really good. I mean, obviously you got Josh
Yeah.
Allen, and you've got they actually have a pretty talented running back room, just in terms of like having a bunch of guys that can play well. There are wide receivers. I mean,
Yeah, they
You have Stephon Diggs, but then you think about like Gabe Davis.
Jameson Crowder. Yeah, Gabe Davis,
Oh
Jameson
gosh,
Crowder.
see that's what I'm saying. Like I can name 30 wide receivers that I consider to be a better talent than Jamison Crowder, and that's like
Okay,
conservative.
yeah, and the rankings show that too. He's not rated very high. They One thing that might weight them a little bit. The running back they drafted, James Cook. He's using his college ratings, which is an 885, which is pretty high for a running back. But he actually will. He could have a chance to be good. He's just unproven in the NFL.
Yeah, but you have the other running backs on that team, right? You got Singletary, you still have Moss is there, and
Singletary.
then you have
Yeah,
Duke Johnson. So I mean that's a crowded
yeah.
room. I would be surprised if they
Yeah.
went into the season with all four of those guys.
They might not. They might
I think
not.
they should axe Moss, but that's just
All
me.
right. So that's number one. Number two. You
No,
care to guess? Just want to hear.
yeah, no, I'll guess. I love to guess.
Okay.
You know, I,
We'll stop guessing after like five or six.
well, let's stop guessing as soon as I get one wrong, which might be right here.
It could be.
Um, I think it could be the Bucks. I think it could be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean,
Do you have it pulled up in front of you right now?
no, I don't. I actually don't. I don't even
It's the
know.
Buccaneers.
It is the Buccaneers. Oh yeah,
It
right
is the
on.
Buccaneers.
So yeah, I mean that makes a lot of sense. I mean they've basically for 2 years straight they've brought back most of the players from that Super Bowl team, and as well as adding Russell Gage while Godwin's going to be out, but you still have Fournette, and I know they've lost some people on the offensive line, but they filled those gaps, and you still have Brady. I mean Brady's going to make that. Brady might even skew most of that rating, that overall team rating, way up because he's the goat. But that defense is good too, and I think that secondary had a lot of trouble early in the year last year. Listen to me talking like I know what the hell I'm talking about. But they did struggle in the year, and I think they got it together. And I think they got spoiled in the playoffs. But Brady's coming back for a reason. Brady wouldn't come back if he was actually like the best thing on that team. Um, so anyway, Bucks, nice.
Excuse me. All
Bills
right.
and the
Who do you think
Bucks.
for
I'm
number
I'm
three?
2 for 2. Now this is where it gets dicey.
Yeah, it does.
Um, Based off of roster composition alone,
This one surprised me, so I'd be surprised if you get it. And I would really question your authenticity in thinking that you don't have this right in front of you looking at it.
I swear to you, I don't. I mean, I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've already at the onset of this, I questioned its legitimacy. So like, well, I'm not gonna waste my time giving it a click. Anyway,
All right. Who's number three?
I'm almost absolutely gonna get this wrong. Well, if the Chiefs hadn't lost Tyreek Hill, I would probably say the Chiefs. Um, might say the Dolphins if they had a better quarterback. I think I might say. Listen to me say the Dolphins. No way. I'm gonna say. You know what? I'm just gonna go for it and say the Browns. I think the.
Uh,
What do you think?
that would be incorrect.
Okay.
the number 3 team based on this is the LA Chargers.
Of course. How did I forget that? Yeah. I mean, they lost
Yeah,
Von
especially
Miller,
with the additions.
but Aaron Donald. I mean,
They got
locking
Khalil
him.
Mack.
They got Khalil Mack. Yes, that team is a great team. They still have Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah,
How did I forget that? Yeah, they are
yeah,
deserve. I mean,
they're gonna be good.
they might even be the I could.
Ramsey's the Rams, and Aaron Donald. The Chargers are number 3, not the Rams.
Oh, excuse me. Well, are Rams four?
The Rams are 4,
All right, there you
actually.
go. They should be four. Yeah, okay. That's I'm comfortable with
J-
that. I don't think
J-
there's anything fraudulent
J-
about this list yet.
yeah, yeah, J.C. Jackson was a big addition to them, and Khalil Mack. So their defense significantly improved.
Yeah, good
Um,
because they
so
needed it.
yeah, they're gonna be good. 4 is the Rams, as we talked
Mm-hmm.
about, and you mentioned
Oh,
some of the
Allen
transfers.
Robinson. Oh yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, they're gonna be good. Allen Robinson, yeah. Number 5, any guesses?
No, I'm done guessing.
All right, cool. 5 is the Green Bay Packers,
How? How
which
is
is
that possible?
a little surprising to me. Um,
Yeah, what does it say about them? I mean, I can filibuster a little bit while you skim through that, but my gut would be, like, I can name, I mean, they got one old hat wide receiver on their team. They drafted a rookie. They
so
don't,
yes, yeah. So their biggest strength, based on the rankings here, is their defense. They really stepped up their defense with um, the drafting of Devontae Wyatt and Kay Walker. Then they also, uh, yeah, Jair Alexander is coming off of an injury, I guess. Seems a little weak to me, but they are right now
that's Rodgers.
slated
They're
as
just
number 5,
they're
and
just
it's
pulling
Rod,
Rodgers.
and it's the Rodgers.
All right.
Roger. Number 6, though, is your Cleveland Browns.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. They have a good roster. I mean, they've got a really deep running back room. They've got some good wide
Amari
receiver
Cooper.
talent. They've got a great defense. I mean, they've really worked on that defense with Heinz or
Now,
Denzel Ward and Miles Garrett, and they brought Clowney back. That's a good team, man.
biggest caveat here to the rankings by themselves is that this is right now including the 2020 PFF score of Deshaun Watson. So if he doesn't play this season, obviously that is going to drop them down the rankings a little bit.
Oh, sure, that makes sense.
Yeah. Number 7 is the Eagles, which I also found a little surprising, but they got AJ Brown, which is kind of big.
You really
They
think
got
that? Let me ask you something. Just
yeah.
man to man here. What do you think of AJ Brown as a talent?
I think as a talent, I think that when he's healthy, he's definitely a top 15 wide receiver when he's healthy. I think that he could potentially even be better, but he does get hurt a lot. He's a big guy. He's tall. He's hard to tackle. He's got decent speed. He's pretty good. I'll be really curious to see what happens with him um, on the Eagles, but I don't know. I mean, it's like, here's the thing: Tannehill is a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. If you put AJ Brown on a team with a great quarterback, I'd be really curious to see what happens. You know what I mean?
Okay, so
I think
do you think Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback?
no, I don't. So
Okay.
that's why I don't like AJ Brown, like especially from a fantasy realm. Does he improve the Eagles as a team? Absolutely. He's obvious number 1 receiver for them right now, and I think he'll even better than Devontae Smith. But he complements Devontae Smith well, I think. So I don't know. I don't trust Jalen Hurts that much as a passer to think that like statistically they're going to light it up or put on great shows. But if you put him with a better quarterback, I think he could. That's what I think.
I don't know. We always talk about the debate can go on. It has and will continue to go on until the end of time. It's like chicken or the egg. Like, are you a great receiver? Can you really be a great receiver if you quote need if you need to play like you just said, put him on a team with a great quarterback and he'd really be something. Well, what does that mean? I mean, like
Well, here's what it means. Well, hold on.
I know what it means. I'm just saying, like, that's
So why
always
are you asking the question?
it was more of a rhetorical question. I was kind of posing it Like you think about like Reggie Wayne. Like was Reggie Wayne actually like a Hall of Fame wide receiver, or did he just play with Peyton Manning his whole career? You know what I'm saying? Was Peyton Manning actually that good, or did he always just have a Marvin Harrison, a Reggie Wayne, a Dallas Clark? All you know. Again, like that's what I'm saying. Like that's why it's a team sport, and that's why it's so hard to judge individual pieces. Like I think Julio Jones is phenomenal. He was great with Matt Ryan, but he was kind of a dud even when he was healthy with Tannehill. I know it's Tannehill, but like it's just I'm just saying like you can always have those
Okay.
things because people's play is so tied to one another.
Agreed. There's lots of variations
Just
here, but I will
like a
say
running back and their offensive line. It's a very similar relationship.
I completely agree. However, I think that you, I think it, I think that it would be easier to prove that you could have a great quarterback and average or below average receivers and still produce great results. If you have a great receiver and a really poor quarterback, that could almost just take this receiver out of the game in it by itself. Because if the quarterback can't get the ball to the receiver, if they don't make right decisions, they don't use checkdowns, they don't do all these things, they don't throw good passes, they're not accurate, then it could really hurt a receiver's productivity. And let's be real, unless you're watching every single football game and every single play, from a layperson's standpoint, or for like a fan, you could totally have this really great talent in the receiver ranks, but if he never gets the ball because the quarterback can't get it to him, then he won't have anything to show for it. You know what I mean? There's no statistics on, oh man, he had good separation that drive or that play. You know what I mean? Like you can't see that. It's just about receptions and yards after the catch and all that type of stuff. So I
You can
think
see it. You can see it
that
if you watch tape, but or film.
yeah, I understand, but who sits there and watches tape? The people in the league do,
I've watched tape.
but
I watched
I
plenty of tape. What are you talking about?
I okay, but Kevin, you're different. You're weird. Like
I think
a
the word you're looking for is exceptional.
yeah, exceptional. All right, number 8,
We're going through. Wait, are we going through the whole list? Because we didn't even talk about.
the Eagles. We talked about the Eagles.
I don't care about the Eagles. Let's go.
Number
Let's go.
8.
Let's go. Hold on a
Number
second. Hold on a
8.
second. Let's go through the top 10. Let's finish out the 10, and then we'll just like see who. Let's visit the bottom 2, and then.
Number 8.
My goodness, we have somewhere to be. What the hell's
Since
going on here? Oh, it's the
number 8
Bengals.
is
Okay, that's why you want to get.
Cincinnati
Okay, got it.
Bengals.
Okay, okay, okay.
Number 8 is the Cincinnati Bengals, and obviously it's because of the just absolutely superior receiving core, probably one of the best receiving cores in the entire NFL, and Joe Burrow. I can't forget Joe
New
Burrow.
Orleans.
The increase of the offensive line also significantly helps boost their roster rating, and their retention of most players on the defense is also top notch. So they are number 8. Any comments?
Nope.
Number 9, Chiefs. Number 10, Dolphins. So what's interesting is that there's only 3 NFC teams in the top 10.
Yeah.
Eagles, Rams, Bucks. Everything else? Oh, no, sorry, Packers. There's 4. I lied.
Yep.
All right. So looking at the what?
I didn't say anything. I said yep.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. You've not shut up this entire podcast, and now you're all of a sudden you're silent. Did I make you mad?
What do you want from me, man?
I don't know.
You want me to say
What else?
yeah? Oh, I don't even know what you want.
Listen, I get it. I get it.
Are you frustrated about your airtime on this episode, Scotty? Would you like to talk a little bit more? I thought it's been pretty even.
I'm not frustrated about anything.
You seem a little
I just
perturbed.
no,
Sure.
yeah, I'm sure. The bottom.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
here's a fun one. Coming in at number 22. And again, this is just This is the full roster, not just a quarterback position. Coming in at 22, the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's pretty low.
Actually, that is quite low. I think people regard that defense pretty highly.
Well,
I mean, I don't think the offensive line has gotten any better, and they're. I mean, if anything, they've upgraded a quarterback from last year. Fucking noodle arm Ben, excuse the language. Um, but
Well, let's just go through, not at any length at all. Um, I think part of what's hurt them in the scoring is that some of their players seem rated pretty low. Like Miles Jack and Devin Bush rated super low on the defense.
they haven't done
Even Minka,
anything.
exactly, and even Minka Fitzpatrick, who signed crazy
A
deal, got
4-year
tons of
deal.
money. He's not rated that much higher than
Really?
Terrell Edmonds. Yeah, he's only rated at 57.2.
I mean, I've got no frame of reference for that number.
Terrell Edmonds is 58, so he's rated the same as Terrell Edmonds.
I mean, okay, good to know. I mean, what is somebody else? What's an Aaron Donald? What is it? How high does it go?
I'm gonna scroll really high. It goes up to it's on a scale of 100.
Oh, it's like Madden rating almost,
Yeah, it's like a Madden rating. Yeah,
except a little bit
so
more
they got it right.
realistic. Like 50s would be
There's probably
dog shit, but not in real life, or not in this
not in real
ranking.
life, right? So I don't know. That's really interesting. And then further down the bottom, we got, let's see, the 30th is the Bears. 31st, the
Whoa.
Falcons. Yeah, Bears are pretty low.
Oh, give me Detroit.
Detroit is 25.
Wow. Okay, so the worst in the league.
So teams ranked worse than Detroit. I'll quickly
I
go
know
through
it
them.
is. I know who the last
Well,
one is.
there's seven.
I know who the last in the league is.
All right. Well, I'll save that one for the end. But here's the teams that are ranked lower than Detroit. Okay. We have the New York Giants. Not super surprising. The Carolina Panthers, Jacksonville Jaguars, Seattle Seahawks, Chicago Bears, Atlanta Falcons, and then there's one last team.
Oh, I was gonna guess Atlanta.
Ooh, no, Atlanta is the second to worst.
Hmm.
You will get this when you
Oh,
actually hear it and
Houston.
think about it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Houston
Houston.
Texans. So
Oh
that
boy.
is the deal. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. What an experience. What a time we've had today.
Hasn't it been great?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, when's Baker gonna get traded? Get off my damn roster.
Okay, what team do you want him to be traded to? And do you think that when he does get traded to whatever team you want, do you A, root for his success? And B, do you think he'll have success?
Well, all good questions. It's a triple barrel question there.
Mm-hmm.
Very bad survey form, Scotty. Good thing you don't work in research. Okay, let's take it one by one. Which team do I want him to go to? Anywhere in the NFC. I think that it would be fun to watch him in Seattle. Whereas if he went to Carolina, I think I'd feel sorry for him because I think there's nothing good happening in Carolina.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Seattle's got a pretty bad roster too. I mean, I think they're going to be one of maybe the weakest offense in the whole league. He would obviously, so much so that I think that he'll upgrade that pretty significantly if he were to get traded there. I mean, Drew Lock is not a good quarterback. I don't think anybody believes that. I think Geno Smith would do better than Drew Lock. It's so funny to shit on Drew Lock. I feel bad. I mean, the guy, he's just a kid. It's because of the way he looks. And he got drafted super high, and he wasn't even graded that well. It doesn't matter. I'm digressing. Okay, so who do I want him to go to? Anywhere in the NFC, I'm gonna say I would prefer him to go to Seattle. I guess that leads into the next question: Do I want him to do well? I think that I have to think about this through the lens of like as a Browns fan and looking and trying not to look any stupider than we already look, which is pretty effing stupid. I think I want Baker to look. I want Baker to do as well as people think Baker would do with the Browns. I want Baker to live up to the expectations of that people had of him when he was with Cleveland, which was not that
So
high.
perennial. Uh, I feel like
I think we might have different views here, Scotty.
when Baker went to the Browns and he won their first game in like 3.5 years, and then they went to the playoffs and beat the Steelers, the
Yeah.
expectations were that he needs to be a perennial playoff quarterback.
No, no, no.
That's the
I'm not
expectation.
talking about the expectation. I'm talking about the perception.
He just said what is a perception is an expectation.
Well,
You
so
can't have an
first of
expectation
all,
without
first of
perception.
all, don't ask me the question and get mad at my answer. I'm just telling you.
Well, if I can't get mad if you are answering in a stupid way, I can get mad at that.
Well,
Tell me what's the difference between a perception and an expectation? Your expectations are based off of perceptions, and that is, oh, Baker Mayfield can take the Browns to the playoffs. That's the
no, no, no,
perception.
no, no, no. There, perception versus expectation is different. It's a subtle difference, but there's a difference. An expectation is, okay, Baker, if you played well in 2020, um, and you seem to be the leader of this team, and you seem to be the guy for now. If you want to live up to that expectation, then you need to consistently take the team to the playoffs. That is the expectation moving forward. If
Were you not expecting that last year?
Let me finish. During that same time period, general opinion, the perception of how good Baker is not necessarily that people perceive him to be good enough to take them to the playoffs every single year. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like I think that the perception of Baker was still lower than the achievement that he achieved in that one year. I'm not talking about my own personal opinion about him and how good he is or whatever. I'm talking about this all has to do with like the court of public opinion, the public sphere, and like analysts and football people, what general fans think too, because those are the people that help develop the opinions of different fan bases. Okay, so
Well, I'm glad you talked to all of them to know that.
you know what this is.
That's what you do to me all the time. That's what you do to me all the time.
Did you have a bad meeting today? Did you get yelled? Did your
No,
boss yell at you? I know you know what's going
no,
on here, man.
no. Everything was
I'm
great
trying to
today.
give you a very detailed, honest opinion about what I'm hoping for. And I mean, no, I don't talk to anybody, but I talk to you. I know what you think. We've had some multiple conversations about
Yeah,
how good we think
my
Baker is.
perception.
We're not
Yeah,
on
my
your
perception
perception
and
yet. We're not
expectations
on
are pretty
your
low.
we're
Yeah.
not on that yet. That's exactly okay. Exactly. So again, if I'm trying to protect whatever shreds of dignity my fan base has, which is it was never ever that high.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty low
have
now too.
I have to hope that Baker does as well as people thought he would do. No better. And over the course of the last 4 years, I did begin to support him. I embraced him as my quarterback. I accepted it. I got to a place of acceptance. So I still have some residual, like, okay, I kind of want him to do well, but not so well that I don't want him to embarrass himself. I don't want him to make the Browns look like bigger fools than they already look. That's my answer to that. Do I think he will do well? I think he'll do. I think he'll meet expectations or meet that perception level if he goes to Seattle. I do not think he will if he goes to Carolina. There you go. End of answer.
That's
Gosh,
pretty
Scotty,
good.
thanks for making that as hard as possible.
You're welcome. Yeah, I think in the next 3 seasons, Baker Mayfield will not be in the NFL anymore.
I know we talked about that, but you're completely wrong there. I mean,
We'll see.
whatever. We have a wait to see. That is what it is.
Unfortunately, he's in a bad situation where he's going to be sent to a team that is not built for success. He won't be able to achieve any type of success
He
because
never
he won't
has
have any.
been on a team that was built for success.
Last season's Cleveland Browns team was built for success. 100%. It had every single thing possible to succeed except for a good quarterback.
Mm.
And that's ultimately what happened. That's why they couldn't do anything. They
I,
had a great defense. They had a great surrounding cast. They had Odell Beckham. They had Jarvis Land. Couldn't do anything.
I think they're better this year.
I mean, not without Deshaun
Not without a
Watson.
quarterback. That's true.
Anyways, all right. It's the
let's
Bengals season this year.
let's tie this one off.
Yeah.
Well, what a dismount I'm performing right now. I hate talking Baker
That's
with you.
okay.
I mean, I brought it
Well,
up.
you won't have to pretty soon. You did
Yeah,
bring it up.
I did bring it up. It's just you've got such a hard stance on it. There's
I have
no
a very
wiggle room.
accurate, Well, there's no wiggle room in facts. You know what I mean? Like it's he planted the flag in in the middle of the Ohio State field, and that was the highlight of his entire
You've been
career,
dead to him.
except for
He's been dead to
except
you ever since.
he has been, and the only other highlight of his career is that when he ended the 27 game winless streak of the Cleveland Browns, and it was in such a dramatic fashion that the bars around Cleveland opened up coolers to finally let the beer flow in Cleveland because they were happy they got one win. That's the highlights of Baker Mayfield.
I think you're jealous that the Browns have a better fan base than Cincinnati.
I completely disagree.
No, no, no. Well, you would because that would be admitting quite a bit, but I think that's really what's happening here.
Okay. Your team has not achieved any success at all on the field when the argument has to be, yeah, our fan base is better. Like, really? Okay, fine. Whatever. Let's concede that, yeah, sure. You loyal dog pound bros just hang out and we'll watch 0-16 teams and still bark your heads off. That's fine. You got a more loyal fan base. I got Joe Burrow. And I'd rather take Joe Burrow over a loyal fan base every single day.
It's not a matter of like who's better because of what they've got. You're conflating that. I think you're just a little bit. I think you're just a little bit. I guess sad because you wish that
Sad?
you wish
I'm
that you
sad.
had you wish that you had teams in your mud hole of a city that could withstand losing so much, yet people still show up, they still come out, they still get together, they still watch, they still care. Not a lot of places could handle that. I mean,
That's you know,
it's
you
true.
make a good point.
Thank you.
You make a good point. I am kind of sad because of that, and I think I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to wipe up my tears with my 2021 AFC Championship T-shirt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Have you seen your team in a Super Bowl before?
Have you won a Super Bowl before?
Still seen him in it.
Hey, we both our teams have 0 Super Bowls, so you keep talking if you want
Not
to,
till
buddy.
this year. Not
Yeah,
till this
we'll
year.
see. We'll see.
We will see.
Get the hell out of my screen. I'm out. I'm done with you.
Happy 4th of July.
Yeah. Yippee.